Thanks once again for tuning in to the Foxways YouTube channel, and we are out here on one of the very big pits in this area trying to find a few pike on lures. Now it's that time of year where it is really quite cold. You know, it's been going between sort of 1 and 5 degrees, so we'll talk about the techniques we're using to try and combat that very cold weather. But actually we've had a lot of very bright days recently. Today is really nicely overcast, so whilst it's quite cold, well, very cold, at least it's nice and overcast, and I think that's going to work in our favour. And in fact, let's get the lure talk out of the way, because I'm desperate to go fishing, but I think, yeah, let's go through the lures now. I'll talk about the rods later on in terms of the weight of the rods and the reels that I'm using. For now, let's quickly go through with the lures that I'm starting off on, and then we'll get fishing. I am mainly going to be fishing with the heavier outfit. I do want to fish quite big lures after a big pike, 16 centimetres, and these are a fantastic option. I'm mainly going to be using these ready rigged shads. You get them straight out the packet and they are ready to go. As you can see, they've got one single treble that just hangs down from the body, and you've got a weight there. So it's slightly weighted, perfect, really is ready to go. And I've got those in a range of colours. This is natural perch, I've got silver halo, I've got glitter perch, I've got realistic roach, so I've got a range of different patterns. They're all around about 16 centimetres, as I said. The water today, it isn't too coloured, so I'm going to start off with the natural patterns, but can go to these brighter lures should I feel that I need to. With those chin weights that I'm using, you get a packet of 3. Inside that pack, you've got 5 gram, 10 gram and 15 gram in the pack. And like I said, very easy to clip onto the front of the lure and work those lures at various depths to try and find exactly what the optimum depth is for that particular part of the lake, or the type of depth that the fish want to take it. Like I say, it is pretty cold today, so I probably am going to use the chin weights just to get right down in the water. I just feel that they'll be on the deck or near the deck in these sort of conditions. All of the ready rig shads, they've got a really nice sort of action in the water, a bit of a wobble, and they've all got a really large paddle on the shad, which gives a lot of action and vibration. Fantastic lures. And ready rigged, you know, as simple as just take them out the pack and away you go. So on the lighter rod, I am going to fish 14 centimetre shads. These are the Xander Pro shads. I'm mainly going to be using those. I've got those in some fairly natural colours, but I've also got them in bright colours as well. Quite happy to just use a straight up single hook jig head on those. At the moment, a lot of them are rigged up with 15 gram, I think. I'm probably going to swap that out for 10 gram jig heads because it's not really deep water here, and I think 10 gram will be enough to get me out there. And the lake at the moment, surprisingly, even though it's cold, there is a light layer of weed across the bottom. So I don't want a jig head that's so heavy that's dropping me in that weed. It's worth saying with those ready rigged shads as well, of course you've got a treble hook on the bottom of those. If I'm starting to get snared up in the weed because of that treble hook that's hanging below the fish, I'll definitely be switching to one of these 14 centimetre shads that are just rigged up on a straight up jig head. Of course, I have got even smaller still, going right down to 10 centimetres. And I do sometimes find in my perch fishing that scaling down does get me some bites when I'm really struggling. I found the same with pike as well. So whilst I'll start on those bigger lures, I can come down in size. Hopefully that won't be necessary, and we will get a fish or two. Definitely had a follow straight away. It's a bit annoying. Picked up a bit of weed, I think. Don't let it drop and hit the bottom. fish. Whoa. Oh, brilliant. Looks like quite a good one too. Alright, let's get down here without falling in. There we go. In you come, come on. There we go, he's in. Awesome. Wicked. Wonder if that's the one I got to follow from. Might be. Cool. Well, some quick success. Look at him, absolutely cracking. Literally first visit to the pit here, big pit. Yeah, had a follow, second cast. Couple of casts later, and I've already got this on the bank, caught on a 14 centimetre shad, which we'll have a look at in a bit. But I'm very pleased with that. So what a fantastic start, and here we go. That's what it took. UV Ultra Xander Pro Shad in glitter perch, 16 centimetre. It's the loaded version, so it already comes loaded. Really nice big paddle on it. Wobbles beautifully in the water. And that pike certainly couldn't resist it. And what I've actually attached to it is a little chin weight. The water's reasonably deep, and so I wanted to put a 10 gram chin weight on that lure. And yeah, definitely did the job. I'm glad I had the Polaroids on as well, because I would not have seen that follow on I think it was my first or second cast I got a follow. And yeah, I don't think I'd have seen that without the Polaroids, and that told me I needed to have a couple more casts, and we got one. Now, quite often I will explore around the edges before I go out into the pond, particularly in sort of autumn and spring. But because of the cold weather, I'm just getting straight out into the pond. Unless the sort of near side margins do look really good, in which case I'm sort of creeping into the swim, standing well back, exploring the edges before going out into the pond. Not that it's a pond, it's a bloody great big lake, but you know what I mean. Having said that, at this time of year, I'm not exploring the edges as much. I'm getting out into that deeper water. There we go. There we go. Fish on. Yes. Awesome. Absolutely hammered it. Yeah, it's a good fish. Nice fish. Yes, he's in. Yes. Cracking. So we put the slider on, and I wasn't sure if it would work in this cold water, but look at him. What a fish that is. 92 centimetres, 91, 92. Very, very happy with that. Heavy, certainly an upper double, I would say. Cracking. Right, that fish was caught sort of at range. Really wasn't very close and nearly lost it in the near side snags. Just sort of on a pause, it smacked it. Do like these sliders, especially if the water's sort of less than about 8 foot deep or so. There you go. Oh, that was a hit. Oh, shit. What happened there? Right, let's cover that again. Come on. There you go. Fish. That hit doesn't feel as big as the last one, but we might have found a method that works. Yeah, it feels like a baby in comparison. God, they like these branches. There we go. Look, cracking. Thought I had a hit, and we did. Awesome. And incredible, we've got another. We might have found a method that's going to work in this bay. Another one on the slider. So yeah, very, very happy. Only just put that other one back. And we got this little fella. Incredible. And there we are, a bit of success. Well, it's such a slow morning. I didn't expect it to come alive, and it has. I don't know if it's the time of day or the switch of lure, but it certainly isn't the first time that the slider's got me out of trouble. I find it particularly good in medium to shallow water and over the top of weed like this. As it gets milder through the day, it just felt like it was worth a go. And certainly if you see the way that I'm working the lure, either with half turns of the reel handle and a pause, or by using the tip, you can get a lure like this to come off that centre line. And quite often, I think it's that makes them hit it. They just don't see as much of that. You know, they see a lot of lures going in one direction, but they don't see as many that are going from side to side. So yeah, the Salmo slider does the business again. And yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll head down a couple of swims, because I've had a few more casts in this one, and yeah, I'm not sure there's any more fish to be had in this spot, although I might come back here in about sort of like 45 minutes or so. I'm going to quickly show you how I'm retrieving this slider. So we'll give it a cast out. Let it sink just for a bit, and then a half turn and a pushing down of the rod tip. Half turn, push down. Half turn, push down. Always keep tension on the braid, but a half turn and I'm pushing the rod tip down. And that's just making that lure go from side to side, getting it off that centre line, something that they don't see as much of in comparison to maybe soft plastics. And yeah, definitely worth a go. Let's just take a quick moment to look at the rods that I'm using today. Like I mentioned, I am using a heavy outfit and a light outfit. So starting with the heavy outfit is the Prism X Pike cast. It's 40 to 120 grams in casting weight. It's a 7'7" rod, and that is coupled with a bait caster reel. Now, I do like to use a bait caster on the bigger rod. Main reason being is that I just find like a spinning reel, there's a lot of weight on your fingers and on the braid, and a lot of stress on the braid it feels with a spinning reel when you're using larger lures, you know, that are sort of 16, 18 centimetre. I just find with a bait caster, all the pressure is taken off your hands and off the cast and all, you know, all this area with a bait caster reel. The bait caster is also Prism X, and it's loaded with strong braid. And I'm quite happy for that braid to come straight down to this really nice titanium trace. And we have got the Ready Rig shad on there. If the fish are being really tricky, or if it was a bright day, or if the water was really clear, quite often what I will do is put a length of fluorocarbon between the braid and the trace. Today the water isn't really clear and it's nice and overcast, so I don't really think that's necessary. Now today we really are going all in Prism X, because the lighter rod is also Prism X, and it's the heavy jigger, and that is, like I say, a lighter rod at 10 to 40 gram, really nice sort of through action. It's got just the right amount of power for these sort of like lighter lures. With it, I'm mainly chucking, like I say, up to 14 centimetres. In terms of the weight, I'm very rarely going above 20 grams or 15 really. A lot of the time today, 10 grams. And keeping faithful to the Prism X, we've got a 2000 size Prism X reel. That's also loaded with strong braid, and coming down to the titanium trace again. And this time we're just using, like I say, like smaller shads. I think that one's about 10 centimetres, just on a 10 gram jig head. And yeah, that's only coming out, to be fair, when I'm struggling on the bigger setup, because I'm just enjoying using that rod so much, to be honest. Like I said in the intro, I've done an awful lot of perch fishing. And yeah, to be able to step up to big rods and big lures, it feels like a bit of a treat. Oh, did you see that? I mean, it followed it right in that time. I wonder if they're following it in from up there. Don't think so, I think it's just hanging around. Desperately want to catch him. I'm going to quickly run through a bit about fish care, because although pike are ferocious fish, aren't they? They really are quite a delicate fish as well. So obviously we need to bring the right equipment with us. We need an unhooking mat. Obviously you need the right size net. Don't bring a net that's too small. A net that collapses when you're mobile and moving around is really useful, and that rubber mesh is really going to help you out. But really what I want to focus on is the other tools that you need once you've got a fish on the bank. And you could buy these individually or part of a set. Firstly, you've got the long nose pliers. Those really are your bread and butter forceps for getting hooks out of fish. So a set of nice, strong, robust, long nose pliers. We then have a larger set of pliers, just in case we do get a fish that is slightly more deeply hooked. These come in a couple of different sizes, and we hope that these never really need to come out the bag, but it is very, very important that you do carry them, just in case you ever do get into a situation where you need to cut through a treble or cut through a jig head or through some thick metal. And that is some really strong cutters. To be used in an emergency really can get you out of a very sticky situation. So there you are, 3 sets of tools. They've all got their place. They all need to be in your bag before you go pike fishing. To go without the right equipment is just a bit irresponsible, to be honest. It's not fair on the other anglers that want to catch these fish, and it's certainly not fair on the fish. So make sure that you're armed with the right tools. Here again, let's see if we can get that one that we lost earlier. We had a follow with. I'm kind of feeling it in this bay. Lots of follows I've had in this bay. Caught fish, hooked a fish. So there's a few in the bay here. Oh, come back here, is it? No. There it is. Yeah. Yeah. That's the one that I hooked earlier. You know, I said it kept following it. I thought I've been away and come back, and I thought that might do the trick. There we go. Get down on my bum. Yeah. Get in. There we are. I wonder if that's the one that I lost earlier. Kept following me in. Could be. Because I went away, came back. Half an hour later, first chuck, and I got him. Not a big fish, but we are catching them regularly now. So I think that's me done. We're starting to lose the light. We've had a few fish, so I'm very happy. Thanks again for tuning into the Fox Rays YouTube channel. And if you haven't subscribed, do that now. Hope you picked up something to put into your own fishing, and I'll see you in the next one.